The Cowboys have made some big moves over the years, but if there's one hole that continues to haunt this defense, it's right smack in the middle of the line, the one-tech defensive tackle spot. That position is more than just a body up front. It's the anchor. It's the guy who eats up blocks, stuffs the run, and sets the tone physically for the entire front seven. And when that position is weak, everything else feels the linebackers get swallowed up. The pass rush becomes easier to manage, and teams start running straight through the heart of your defense. Sound familiar? Now, that's where Christian Wilkins enters the conversation. On paper, this guy fits the mold. He's explosive, he's disruptive, and when he's locked in, he can collapse a pocket and blow up a running play before it even starts. Dallas fans know how valuable that kind of presence could be, especially with the speed and talent we've got around him. Imagine giving Micah Parsons more freedom, freeing up DeMarcus Lawrence, or letting the linebackers flow instead of fighting through trash every snap. It changes everything. But let's keep it real, finding a quality one tech isn't easy. The draft doesn't always deliver immediate help there, and free agency tends to be expensive and risky. So when a player like Wilkins becomes a possibility, even with all the baggage, fans and front offices start to think hard about what it would mean to bring him in. Is he the piece that turns this defensive line into something elite? Or is it just another flashy move that ends up creating more problems than it solves? You've got to ask yourself, is the upside worth chasing? Is the one tech need so urgent that you're willing to roll the dice, even if the potential fallout is ugly? Because we've seen how critical that position is, especially against teams that try to wear the Cowboys down physically late in games. What do you think? Is this still the top priority for the Cowboys defense heading into the season? Or are you more worried about another position group? Let me know in the comments, because I'm always curious where your head's at on this. And hey, if this is the kind of deep dive you're into, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We're marching towards 16,000 subscribers, and I'd love for you to be a part of that journey. Every new voice makes this community stronger. Let's keep going, because we've got to talk about what Christian Wilkins actually brings to the table when he's on the field. When it comes to raw talent, Christian Wilkins isn't just good, he's one of the most disruptive interior linemen when he's fully engaged. There's a reason he was a first-round pick, and there's a reason teams continue to circle around him despite the drama. You look at the numbers, the film, the impact plays Wilkins can take over games. He's quick off the snap, has a strong punch, and knows how to use leverage to shit blockers. And the motor? When it's running, it's relentless. That's the kind of presence that the Cowboys have been missing in the middle. Osa Odiazua is a solid 3-tech. Mozzie Smith still has a lot to prove, and right now he hasn't shown he can command double teams or dominate the point of attack. That's where Wilkins could come in and instantly make life easier for everyone on that front. You're talking about collapsing pockets from the inside, forcing quarterbacks to slide right into the edge rushers, and clogging up those interior run lanes that teams have been exploiting. From a purely football standpoint, this is a dream fit. And don't forget, Wilkins brings some versatility too. He's not locked into one role. He can shift depending on the package, giving Dan Quinn even more flexibility in how he designs his pressure looks. That kind of chess piece is rare, and it's the sort of thing that elevates an already talented defense into something elite. You put Wilkins between Parsons and Lawrence with a healthy secondary behind them, now we're talking about a defense that can dictate tempo, not just react to it. But again, it all sounds great on paper. That's where this starts to get complicated, because talent isn't the issue with Wilkins. It never has been. The question is whether the Cowboys can trust that they'd be getting the version of Wilkins who shows up ready to work and dominate every week. Because when he's locked in, he can take over games. But when he's not, when the focus slips, when the effort dips, that's when you get into trouble. Let me ask you this. If Wilkins signs with Dallas, would he instantly be the best interior lineman on the team? Yes or no? I want to know how you see it, because this one could really split the fan base. And while you're here, if you're liking the breakdown so far, go ahead and drop a like. It helps more Cowboys fans find the channel, and it pushes us closer to that 16,000 subscriber milestone we've got in sight. Alright, but now we've got to talk about the part that isn't as fun, everything going on off the field with Wilkins. Because as much as we like the talent, it's the red flags that could make or break this whole conversation. Here's where things get tricky. Christian Wilkins, as gifted as he is on the field, comes with a growing list of concerns off of it, and that's something no team, especially one with Super Bowl aspiration like the Cowboys, can afford to ignore. We've heard the rumors about tension in the locker room, about him refusing surgery when it was medically advised, and more troubling, whispers of behavioral issues that go beyond just being a competitive guy. That's not the kind of thing a team like Miami lets slide if it's just minor drama. You don't let go of a high-paid, high-talent player unless the issues are starting to outweigh the impact. For Dallas, that's the real dilemma. The Cowboys have spent years building a strong locker room. Under Dan Quinn and Mike McCarthy, there's been a clear shift toward guys who are team first, who buy into the culture, who understand the responsibility of wearing the star. Bringing someone in who could potentially fracture that unity even if he's dominant on Sundays isn't a small decision. It's a risk with real consequences. You've got to think about chemistry, about trust, about how a guy like Wilkins might affect the younger players in that defensive line room. Would he be a leader or a distraction? That matters, especially on a defense that's trying to become the heart and soul of this team. If you're building toward a championship, you need everyone pulling in the same direction. And the fact that Miami let him walk after investing heavily says a lot. They didn't just let talent go, they made a statement about what they're willing to live with. Are the Cowboys ready to make that same kind of calculation? Let me toss this one to you. How much do you think locker room chemistry should factor into a decision like this? Is it just as important as production? More important? Less? I want your take, because this is one of those situations where fans can see it totally differently. And if you're still watching and enjoying this kind of content, this is the moment to subscribe and turn on those notifications. This is where the conversations get real, and we've got a lot more coming as we close in on 16,000 subscribers. Now, with all that said, let's shift the focus just a bit. What happens if the Cowboys say no? If they decide Wilkins isn't worth the gamble, are there better paths forward that offer talent and peace of mind? Let's explore that next. So let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. What would it really mean if the Cowboys passed on Christian Wilkins? Some fans might see it as missing out on a top-tier player, but from a team-building perspective, it could actually be the smarter move. Because let's be honest, taking a swing on Wilkins isn't just about adding talent. It's about weighing risk versus reward. And for a team that's trying to get over the playoff hump, unnecessary risks can set you back more than they move you forward. There are other defensive tackles out there, maybe not quite as flashy, but dependable, tough, consistent, low-drama guys who fit the mold of what this coaching staff seems to value. Veterans who've been around winning programs, young players with upside and clean reputations, guys who bring grit without bringing headlines. If the Cowboys go that route instead, they might sacrifice a bit of explosiveness, sure, but they also lower the risk of internal distractions and culture issues that can derail an entire season. Because think about where this team is right now. The core is strong. The chemistry is solid. You've got leaders on every level of the defense and a real chance to build something special. Do you really want to roll the dice on a player who could potentially disrupt that? All it takes is one incident, one locker room split, one media blow-up, and suddenly the whole vibe changes. You start seeing finger-pointing, frustration, and distractions that take focus away from the field. That's the risk that comes with a guy like Wilkins. The Cowboys have been burned before. We've all seen it. Talented players brought in with high hopes who ended up creating more noise than results. That's why this front office has to think long-term here. It's not just about week one or even the first half of the season. It's about whether a move like this brings you closer to a championship or just adds more questions to an already pressure-packed year. And look, maybe Wilkins turns it around. Maybe he gets the help he needs, refocuses, and becomes the player his talent suggests he can be. That would be the best-case scenario. But there's no guarantee, and the Cowboys just don't have the luxury to roll the dice blindly right now. Let me throw this one your way. Do you trust this front office to make the right call here? Have they learned enough from past mistakes to avoid another locker room risk? Drop your thoughts below. I really want to hear where you land on this. And if you're still riding with me, now's the perfect time to hit that subscribe button and become part of this community. Every new subscriber helps fuel these deep dives and keeps Cowboys News TV going strong. We're not slowing down anytime soon. Up next, we'll wrap things up by talking about what this decision says about the Cowboys culture and what kind of identity this team wants to build. Moving forward, let's finish strong. At the end of the day, the decision on Christian Wilkins isn't just about talent, it's about identity. It's about what kind of team the Dallas Cowboys are trying to be and what kind of culture they want to protect. Because let's be real, we've seen plenty of teams chase talent, ignore the warning signs, only to end up unraveling from the inside. That's not the road you want to go down when the window to contend is wide open. The Cowboys have built something solid in the locker room. Guys believe in each other. There's accountability. There's buy-in. And while that might sound like coach speak, it's actually what separates teams that fold in the playoffs from the ones that keep fighting. So the question becomes, is bringing in a guy with known issues, however talented he is, worth jeopardizing that foundation? Sometimes, the smart move is to walk away, to admit that while a player could help on the field, the baggage off of it just isn't worth the cost. And maybe Wilkins turns things around. Maybe he ends up helping another team in a big way, but that doesn't mean it would have worked here. The Cowboys have something to protect, and it's not just about wins. It's about building a program where players want to be, where the standard is clear, and where everyone pulls in the same direction. Wilkins' story should be a reminder that talent alone isn't enough. Not in a league where chemistry, culture, and character matter just as much as speed and strength. And if you're building towards something bigger, sometimes the best move is the one you don't make. So I'll leave it to you. If you were in the Cowboys front office, would you take the chance on Wilkins? Or would you trust the foundation you've built and look for a more dependable piece? Let's get the conversation going in the comments, because your take might just be the one that sparks a whole new angle on this debate. And hey, if you haven't already, now's the time to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you never miss another update like this. We're closing in on 16,000 subscribers, and every single one of you helps make this community stronger. Whether Wilkins ends up in Dallas or not, one thing's for sure, we'll be here to break it all down. Thanks for riding with me through this one. Keep repping that star and stay locked, and there's always more Cowboys action just around the corner.